Hello everyone, welcome once again to another review video. Once again I'll be reviewing another story from my friend's book, and this story is so far one of my personal favorites of his shorts, called Bob. It's a very simple title name for a very simple man. So, basically, the whole story revolves around this man named Bob. Robert Luther. Wow. That's why I didn't want to say it, because I don't know how to pronounce the last name. He's going to kill me now. But, anyway. Pretty much, he's your typical, not so typical serial killer. Called Slash and, the media gave him the nickname Slash and Burn Bob. You know how the media is. They love giving people all kinds of names. Soothe my throat a bit. Now, where do I begin with this story and why it's my favorite? Basically, there's a book. It always starts with a book. Find the freaking name of it real quick. That's not it, that's not it, that's not it, pretty much, it is a book called The Crawl, written centuries ago by Dark Horus the Blasphemer? Interesting. Oh, what could we be dealing with? Goosebumps. So basically, we'd covered Dark Horus the Blasphemer before. In the previous story I reviewed, the Tree of Sorrows. So, basically, this man did evil things, and it keeps going on through the ages. So he found the book. Bob found the book. It's written in basically the book's, his personal tome, or whatever you want to call it. And basically it's one of them books that people have been looking for. Pretty much this church is looking for it. So hopefully they keep making a reoccurring theme in his stories. Because the story starts out with a priest that's from this specific church coming to talk to Bob. Not to save his soul or any of that bullcrap, but to basically demand to know where the book is. So, basically, he got the name Slash and Burn Bob because he would sit there and burn, he would, kill his victims in various ways and, cut or burn runes, into their flesh. Pretty much ritualistic killings. Nothing big there. I mean, a serial killer with a ancient evil sorcerer's book, doing ritualistic killings. Almost as if he was sacrificing them, maybe? Basically, Bob has this friend named Simon. Simon decoded the book for him. Plain and simple, we'll get to it. It's a two-part partnership. And Simon helped, as I said, Simon helped him decode the book and do all this other various stuff to help him do all this evil, so he could become powerful, so he can get great and unholy and supernatural strength and powers beyond belief. Basically, Bob's whole goal was to become a demon. Yeah, let that sink in for a moment. He wanted to become a demon. I guess it's not a surprise. I mean, demons got so many kind of powers and all this, but it's not just any kind of demon. It's a soldier demon. A type of demon that could maybe rise through the ranks and become a great guard for the Dark One himself. Which is, according to this story, a very hard feat for one to do, but that's a good goal to shoot for. Though you have others to contend with, and you gotta rise through the ranks and everything. All that kind of fun. So yeah, there's demons in this story. It's awesome. Oh, and besides demon part, that's not even the good part. The betrayal. Oh my God, there's such a betrayal in this story that just, oh God, you just didn't see coming, and it was pleasing. I was so happy with this. That's what made it so fun for me, was the betrayal. The ultimate freaking betrayal was the best part in this, because it was unexpected. You didn't see it coming. Just leave it at that. It was unexpected. And I mean, come on, it was like one of the coolest things that ever happened in this story. Even cooler than when, Bob sits here and bites out the father's throat. Yeah, unfortunately, the good father doesn't last long. It was really sad. He's a really cool character, and died. Just like that priest in that one Stephen King story. Died. Except, they both died pretty horribly, except one got his throat ripped out by a dude. And the other one just, kind of fell to his death. So, how about I read a little section of this for your pleasure? And, let's get adjusted here, get my mic just right, so I'm still sort of in the frame. Father Duncan Bennett made his way down the black and gray tiled hall, focused on the task at hand and trying his best to ignore the lewd remarks and catcalls coming from the inmates in the rows of cells on either side of him as he passed. He was accompanied by 2 massive guards, each carrying a large nightstick in hand, giving any inmate who dared to reach towards the priest a hard rap across the knuckles. Father Bennett absolutely did not approve of such unnecessary show of force, but kept silent. He had bigger fish to fry this evening. Bigger, meaner, and much more dangerous fish. Finally, they reached the end of the walk. As the long hall on death row at Bryson Memorial Federal Prison was called, the priest and his escort stopped at the last cell on the right, next to the door to the execution chamber, the last home a death row inmate ever knows in his life, and presently the home of Robert Luther Bob Logue, better known to the media and the public at large as Slash and Burn Bob. He earned this by carving designs into his victims with what the police identified as a decorative dagger and a crude, homemade pyrography tool. It was the presence of these markings that caught the attention of the church and prompted them to take action. Father Bennett had been a part of 2 most dangerous exorcisms performed in the 20th century, several cases of ritual murders, and one really weird incident with a deck of cursed tarot cards, asking a serial killer a few choice questions while he's shackled to a chair should be a walk in the park, spiritually speaking. That's a pretty good introduction, if I do say so myself. But from just reading that little bit, I want to hear a little more about this priest. Even though, as I already said, he bites it. Tisk tisk, tisk tisk. But the deck of cursed tarot cards. Now that sounds interesting. Now let's skip to another part, and I'll read. Let's see here if I can find Simon's little bit, and I'll read a little bit of Simon. There we go. In the upper loft of a warehouse, 50 blocks away, Simon Wright was busy preparing an altar table and casting a circle around it, watching the clock displayed on his computer, displaying on his computer screen all the while. Precise timing was of the absolute essence, and he had hacked into the security cameras at the prison where his friend Bob had been incarcerated. At present, he was watching the lethal injection room where Slash and Burn Bob was to be executed in less than 20 minutes. Black candles were in place. Black candles were in place. Incense burning. The crawl opened to the proper page, and an ancient witchboard, a predecessor to what we know as known as the Ouija board, sitting on the altar table between the candles. This day had been a long time coming. Several months of preparation and gallons of blood spilled in the name of power. With everything in readiness, his thoughts turned to how he and Bob had come to this point. He had been privy to each murder via camera, watching and listening to his psychopathic friend reciting from the crawl as he carved forgotten words into the flesh of his live victims, either by burning or by blade, then dispatching them in various ways according to the text. Broken neck, cutting out the heart, slicing off the hands and feet. He could still hear the sickening grind and snap as Bob sawed through the tendons and cartilage, then wrenched his prize free. It was his job to be sure that everything went to plan, that Bob didn't slip up or get something backwards or worse. No more time for the walk down memory lane, though. The time was drawing near, and his senses had to be clear. Tell me that doesn't sound awesome. But yes, those are some pieces of this story that make it awesome. So, once again, this is one of Arlen Black Wolf's. This is from Arlen Black Wolf's Six Deep, which you can find on Wattpad. I will have the link in the description below so you can read the whole book and this story. And I will also include the link to where you can read his book, Howlers. So, once again, guys, like and subscribe to my channel if you like what content I'm spewing out from my mouth. And give me a like and subscribe. Click the little bell indication if you want to hear more of my videos. I try to upload about 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I hope to see you again. Stay frightening, my friends.